3 of the Social Business Academia Conference. My name's Cam Donaldson. I am the scientific chair for the conference and also UNIS chair at Glasgow Caledonian University. So it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this session on academic collaboration for social business research and training. Part of the whole purpose of our network is collaboration, and collaboration is becoming a strong theme of the conference. So in a short while, I will introduce hopefully 5 excellent speakers who can guide us through what they're doing, what we think we can do in the future, what should be done, and we'll come back to them shortly. Because first we would like to invite a few words of welcome and inspiration from, of course, Professor Mohammed Yunus. So first of all, over to you, Professor Yunus, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say to us on this wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome, everyone.
Everything. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Cam. Good to be with you. That's the most fantastic thing this morning, or whatever time zone you are, to have our friends together to talk about the favorite things that we talk about in collaboration in academic world. We have done that in the past. We continue to do it. But what I would underline, the need for collaboration and demand for collaboration has increased now because of the circumstances that we're in. So it all needs to be active in finding collaborative way of getting in touch with each other in the common theme of research in collaboration. And funding organizations will be more interested now because of the issues raised and the concern raised right now. European Union has been in touch through Enrico and others to see what kind of collaborative program European Union can take within Europe and outside of Europe. So that's also very helpful to see that the funding agency may be a conduit to lead to a collaboration. And others, such as donor agencies, like, for example, French donor agency can help bring the collaborative research within their recipient countries and so on, and where SBCs are located in the French-speaking countries, they can help finding collaborative research. So we have to look at those kind of things through the lens of the funding agencies. That could be one way for building the collaborative block that we need. My main point is the need and the demand and the desperation will be much, much higher now than it has been before. Another issue I want to add quickly is about the opening up our door for sports world. We just had the Olympic laurel. This gives us a kind of a key to open the door for many, many things within the sports world. So we should use that. And one way, for example, UNIS Sports Hub got involved with the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic to transform that Winter Olympic into social business facilities in the tourism and many other training of the sports, turning sports people into entrepreneurs, many things that they have in mind. So this could be a link to a research project so that you can start doing ahead of time rather than later. Later is also important, documentation, giving ideas and so on. Is a Pyeongchang as something which is already on, and how to do that, what's happening there. And because these knowledge would be very useful for future. And then another attractive thing waiting, and maybe somebody can explore, is the Olympic 2024, Paris Olympic 2024. That have already declared it to be a social business Olympic, not in a mild way, in a very forceful way. And they claimed everything they're doing, it's a social business certified, and we are doing at the right kind of pace so that we really present an Olympic as a social business Olympic in 2024. The research project would be how it is being done, what are the debates which are going on, what are the actions they are taking, what were the alternatives they had to choose from. So if we can come up with some research proposal, I think it would be easy to sell to the Olympic authorities to get it approved and get some participation from French YSBCs, since it's a French event preparation. But they will also be interested in a global participation, because Olympic is a global thing. So this is one area that I'm mentioning, that you see ahead of time where a collaborative research, and a very important research, not a light research. Another one is Winter Olympic 2018 coming up in China. So that's just a Pyeongchang experience. We can bring it up to them. And I'm sure IOC would be very, very interested in our ideas. If you can present a project proposal kind of thing, a research project, that this is what it lead to, and they'll be very happy to finance it themselves. So IOC, you don't have to go to Olympic Committee of the local country. You can go through the IOC, because they themselves recognize that this is what they would be doing. So I would say that these are the things which provides us a ground for collaborative research. I'm just looking for the ground, what makes it a collaborative research. Last point I want to make is a 3-0 club. Since we are launching this 3-0 club, this early stage, one can start the documentation of the 3-0 clubs. How it is happening, what are the issues, what needs to be done, what are the things can happen. Because I think if you can build up 3-0 clubs, it will be a very important element in what we are talking about the global warming and wealth concentration and unemployment issues and so on. So how the young people are reacting to that, how they are replacing themselves with respect to other activist young groups and so on. So these are ideas for research projects, and the funding can be provided because of the nature of the projects that you are talking about. So I'm just giving some ideas where collaborative research could be easily funded, possibility of funding, not guaranteed, but possible, a strong possibility of funding. If we go through these doors, we can have that. So this discussion will continue, and definitely will come up with great recommendations and great action points. And Cam, who was the starting point of entire SBAC, Social Business Academia Conference, he has not missed one single SBAC since it began with him. Isn't it true, Cam? You have not missed one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you have not missed one single one of them. So you should be given another laurel for that. It's that you have you complete dozen, then we'll give it to you. So you can have because it's a great record that you maintain, that you've never missed it. Or even when the conceptualization was final, not taken shape, you began at that time and stayed with it very steadfastly. And thank you for that, Cam. And thank you, Enrico, and thank you, Wasswa, and everybody who is present here. Thank you, and floor is yours, Cam.
Thank you, Professor Yunus. You always set us great challenges, and hopefully we can rise to them. So just to allow the speakers to prepare, the order I propose to go in is with Enrico Testi first, and then Wasswa, Baluniwa, and then Chukwuemeka Diji, and then we'll come to Professor John Struthers, who I noticed has just joined us. Welcome, John. And then we'll come to Professor Kenneth Wanzhou lastly, if Kenneth has been able to join us. So without delaying any more, by way of introduction from me, we'll hand over to you, Enrico, for a few words. Welcome.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here and see everyone. I actually hope next time we will have the chance to be together in person, because it's always better to actually exchange ideas face to face. So just brief introduction of myself. I'm Enrico Testi. I'm the director of the Yunus Social Business Center at the University of Florence. Our Yunus Center is involved in research, consulting, and teaching, and we work both in Italy and other countries. Sorry, is this a brief introduction, or do I have to already address the issues.
Well, it's good. It's good to say a little bit about yourself and the way that you're doing. Thanks.
Okay. So since the topic is about collaboration between UNO centers and research, I want to share with you two of the projects we are doing with other UNO centers. So one is Glasgow Caledonian University. So CAM is involved actually. And it's a European project. Professor Yunus was referring before to European project has a possible source of funding for research. So this is one good example, I would say. And this is an European project which is called SEVERE, where we, with other UNO centers and universities which are not part of the network yet, we are developing strategies and toolkits on how students can actually work together remotely to solve the social issues and challenges. And this is nice because it's a collaboration between the institutions, so the UNO centers, but it's also a collaboration between students from different countries. So this is an interesting experiment for us that we are looking at. And the second collaboration is with the UNO Social Business Center at the Bethlehem University in Palestine, where we are actually doing research on the ground together. So we are currently doing a research which is meant to create a participatory research agenda on social business and social enterprises in Palestine. And then we want also the research to become the basis for discussion in the country, actually to push towards legal frameworks and policies that actually support social business, social enterprise. So in this case, we do research, but then we also want to use the research for advocacy purposes. And of course, collaboration in this case is very important because we can't do it ourselves from Italy, of course, and it's not even the objective to do it ourselves. It's very important that it's something which comes from the country, so from Palestine. But collaboration, it's good because, for example, we might have more experience in some academic stuff and so on. So my time is over, I see. So thank you again for inviting me and talk to you later.
Great, thanks, Enrico. And we'll come back and I think explore each of these examples and some other more of your views on collaboration later, because I know that you have been an excellent collaborator within the network over the years. Our next speaker is Professor Wasswa Baluniwa. He's principal at Makerere University Business School in Uganda. Professor Wasswa Baluniwa, it would be great to hear some introductory thoughts from yourself.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to all of you friends. I would like to pay my special tribute to Professor Yunus. The last time we had a conference, we had talked about how far we were going with the opening of the center. Because of the lockdowns in our country, the education system has been locked for a long time. We have been, we are now teaching online a few things. So we've not really moved ahead in terms of having the center up and working the way we had wanted it to work. However, as I may have explained, maybe talk about our institution. We are the biggest business school in the region with over 20,000 students. And we teach entrepreneurship at diploma, undergraduate, master's, and doctoral level. We have hosted Professor Yunus twice in our school, and we have deep memories of his interaction with the women in social business. We have arranged an organization to support the young people who are doing social business. We train them. Our intentions was that once we establish the center properly, we right now have an entrepreneurship, innovation, and incubation center, which is, the overall center for entrepreneurship activities, including social business. In that center, we've had 2 PhDs coming out of the center, and we are engaged at the moment in research. We are engaged in research in social business in the slum areas. Usually, poverty is a very good indicator of the need for social business, as many poor people are trying to find out what they can do to be able to live. And it is a social business that enables them to come out and be able to do things. So our intention is, as I've said, we will be discussing a curriculum to add an option on our entrepreneurship degree, both at the undergraduate and the master's level, so that we can develop capacity to teach the subject. We hope that we should be able to undertake research. We are collaborating with Mount Kenya, who are the host of this, in a number of areas. I think we have not talked much about social business, but I believe that we should be able to discuss it and possibly collaborate in this area. I've also seen somebody from Katrina University. We've had some chat, but I think we should be able to, think about it together. At the end of this month, we will be having our 14th annual entrepreneurship conference, and social business is one of the areas that we expect to be discussed. I hope that our colleagues in Mount Kenya should be able to present a position on this. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I hope that we enjoy this discussion, and we're looking forward to learning from it. Thank you very much, and back to your host.
Thank you, Professor Baluniwa. Lots of really interesting material there that we can explore further. Now, our next speaker is Dr. Chukwumena Diji, who's, according to the information I have, is an Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research and Innovation and Consultancy at Kampala International University. So welcome, Dr. Diji, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Me on mute. I think we're the youngest unit center in Uganda. We just finished signing the MOUs and the relevant documents in August. And so what we are thinking of doing now is next week, we're having a meeting of our university council. Just like my senior colleague, Professor Wasswa, said, Uganda had a very tough time with regards to educational institution, but we have prepared our own proposals, and we are hoping to get university council approval, so that once we get the university council approval, we can begin. We are hoping to leverage, we don't want to reignite the wheel. We have a good learning point from MOOPS, which is just within Uganda and is our neighbor, and Mount Kenya, as well as Catholic University in Zimbabwe. We're already discussing with them. We are hoping that once we are done with our council meeting and movements are eased, I hope Professor Wasswa is listening to me. I need to come and visit him because we are the nearest neighbors in Uganda, and we need to work together. I know about your entrepreneurship conference at the end of November, and I felt it was a good forum to be a bit of blackmail. You didn't send those flyers. We are your good neighbors. We also have a center. So, sir, I want to
send you something immediately.
Please do. I will really, really appreciate it, because we want to be part of that activity to dig into the network. We're also hoping to do some work with Catholic University in Zimbabwe, and also Mount Kenya. We'll be discussing with them also. But our focus in the coming year are actually in 3 areas. We're trying to look at one, mindsets, and I'm sure Professor Wasswa understands what I'm saying. We also run diploma programs in entrepreneurship up to PhD programs. But there's this issue of mindset here. What is social business, social entrepreneurship? So we're thinking of having some activity to bring our academic staff up to speed, to understand clearly what this is all about. And we want to use our colleagues from MOOPS, who are our neighbors, to assist us with that work. We're also looking at, we're talking with some NGOs also in Uganda we've been able to get one of the foundations that has been very much involved in social business and has also been involved with the UNIS activity. So we want to use them as a leverage to talk to our young students and also to launch out our own youth entrepreneurship incubation center, which we want to use as our basis for promoting the teaching and research in social businesses. We're also looking very closely at the Zero Clubs because we believe the Zero Clubs will help us, especially integrate our young students into our network. For us, what I think we're really going to need as a starting point for the early part of next year, resource materials, and also we need to also get some support in terms of capacity. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks, Dr. DG, and congratulations on being one of the newest UNIS centres. That's fantastic news. And I think you're beginning to raise some of the really important questions that we want to get into after the introductory talk. So the next speaker I have lined up is Professor John Struthers from University of West of Scotland, which is a neighbouring university of my own. And John is a long-standing colleague and also friend of the social business movement. So, and has lots of experience of working in and with colleagues in Africa. So welcome, John. Nice early morning for you, and we're looking forward to hearing your words.
Well, thank you, Cam. It's nice to see you again after all these years, albeit via a Zoom lens. And also Professor Eunice, it's several years since we met, probably 10 or 11 years ago when we helped establish the Journal of Social Business, which I believe is still thriving. So my name is John Struthers, and as Cam said, I work at the University of the West of Scotland, where currently I'm the director of the Centre for African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development. We use the acronym CAREED for short, and that centre has been running for about 6 years now. I suppose the other capacity in which I'm joining you today is for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been the Chancellor of Mount Kenya University. And of course, Mount Kenya University is co-organising this wonderful event over the last these few days. So I'm wearing at least 2 hats this morning on my head, although my head is a little sore through lack of sleep, but I'll do my best to outline a few highlights from my career. So I'm an economist, and I got into social business, as I said, when Professor Eunice was in Glasgow to set up this new journal, the Journal of Social Business, around 10 years ago. I think the 10th anniversary is this year, actually. And my involvement in social business has dropped a little bit, not on purpose in the last few years, but mainly because I've been involved in setting up the centre. And having said that, the way in which social business influences what our centre does is very clear, because the centre that we have is quite a large one. We have about 20 faculty members from a variety of African countries. Indeed, I would like to highlight the fact that we're a very unique centre in the sense that as an African centre, we are mainly Africans. I'm not African, of course, but I have a lot of African connections, and we have a very large number of African countries represented in our African centre based in Scotland, which is quite unique, actually. Happy to answer questions on that specific point. But the research that we do in our centre, and in fact, we have collaborated and are collaborating with Mount Kenya University in some areas of social business, but the research that we do cover a range of topics, from commodity prices to logistics, value chains, but also entrepreneurship, particularly female entrepreneurship. And this is a very big part of the research that we do in the centre. And that has a very specific social dimension because, as we know, the role of female empowerment, and I don't have to say this in the presence of Professor Yunus, who has done such marvelous work with female entrepreneurs in Bangladesh, but in other countries as well. The role of female entrepreneurship, especially in the African continent, is extremely important. And the link with Mount Kenya University has also been highlighted in a couple of events that we've held and research projects that we've carried out with Mount Kenya University, particularly in the area of agricultural, social business, and also particularly in the area of graduate enterprise. And all of these businesses that have been established by both our own university here in Scotland and Mount Kenya University have a very strong social dimension, almost by definition. So really, I suppose that's a brief summary, Cam, of my background in social business.
Brilliant. It sounds really exciting as well, the new centre. And I did not know about your chancellorship of Mount Kenya University. That sounds equally exciting, and no doubt will be hugely productive with respect to social business teaching and research going forward. So thanks for that, John. Now I have noticed that Kenneth Wanjo is here. He is in the room, and he's a professor of entrepreneurship and business development at Karatina University in Kenya. So Kenneth, would you be available to say a few words? I can see you now on the screen. So welcome, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for joining a bit late. My name is Kenneth Wanjau. I work at Karatina University in Kenya. It is in Mount Kenya region, central part of Kenya, and I'm a professor of entrepreneurship. I'm honored also to share a platform with the likes of Professor Wasswa and Professor Yunus, who I largely mentioned in my classes of social entrepreneurship. I'm also the director in charge of university industry linkage and international programs. I'm tasked with bringing in international students as a way of internationalizing Karatina University. I'm also in charge of a project that has been funded by DAD called Developing Entrepreneurial Universities in Kenya. I've been tasked to develop Karatina University to be an entrepreneurial university. We have partnered with University of Saarland from Germany. We have also partnered with local universities, Chuka University, Dedan Kimathi, and we have been actualizing this particular concept. And one of the things that we are doing in Karatina University is to bring in the concept of developing the entrepreneurial identity of the student. And we are using this particular approach called the entrepreneurial thought and action pedagogy, where, for example, we are organizing entrepreneurship competitions amongst our students. And recently, we also said we want to have an employee of Karatina University having also this entrepreneurial identity. So they will also be part and parcel of this competition. And one way that we're using is developing themes around social entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship. This will help to show how that identity can be transformed amongst the society. Being in a country where we have almost 13 million young people who are unemployed, the ones that both registered and unregistered, we feel that if we start bringing out this entrepreneurial identity amongst our students at an early stage, then they'll be in a position to be able to see social enterprises as one way of creating employment and also reducing the poverty. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. There's lots of enthusiastic messages coming in through the chat for the session so far. So that's obviously been highly informative to people. So if we move on to the next stage, which is just to sort of maybe put some questions and suggestions to get the panel's views on, and I will bring in one or two people from the chat box as well who have indicated they would like to ask a question. But I suppose the one that strikes me is that the particularly listening to Wasswa, Chukwuemeka and Kenneth is the solid building blocks that each of you have put in place or are in the process of putting in place within your universities. Largely, it seems to me, could you clarify, is that seems to be within a business school environment? That's fantastic. That's always going to be one of the main drivers of social business in terms of in an academic setting. But I wondered, by way of collaboration, whether about the extent to which you feel able to reach out across your university and into other departments and faculties, and if you have any examples of that. Would either of you like to offer any views on that, either Wasswa, Chukwuemeka or Kenneth?
Well, for us at Kampala University, what we have is a center of excellence for entrepreneurship and innovation. So we have established that center, and we want to use that center as a driving point. And under that center, we have the YSBC, which is the Uni Social Business Center, so that we want to use that as our flagship, since we don't have a business school. And our intention of having a specific center is, we know that when it comes to social business or entrepreneurship in general, the driving force is not necessarily because you're an economist or you are an engineer or anybody, but the driving force really, first and foremost, is interest. I got into entrepreneurship in 2004. As an engineer, I know that when you come up with ideas, I can design processes and systems to make it work. And so we want to find a center which is collaborative in nature, which will not exclude anyone from making some contribution. But of course, to make sure that our activities are sustainable, we want to make sure we have support at the highest level. That's why this month, when we're having our council meeting, we want to present these ideas to the council members so that we can get somebody from the council to be the chair for that center and for the social business, for the Uni Social Business Center, so that in decision making, we will not be constrained in terms of taking decisions or taking actions or moving forward with collaboration. So that's one of the aspects we are looking at, because foundations are very, very important. Once the foundations are not there, once people move in and out, the center might be disrupted in nature. So that's the context in which we are operating. First, as a center for entrepreneurship and innovation, and within that center, having a specific unit for social businesses.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to be thinking about, is sustainability, and as part of that, embedding the center within the university. Don't know if Kenneth or Chukwuemeka have anything to add to that. Kenneth, I can tell. Sorry, Chukwuemeka's just spoken. Sorry, Kenneth, I see you're ready to speak.
Oh, okay, yes, thank you. Yeah, in Karatina University, the concept of developing the entrepreneurial university is not only embedded in the School of Business. The School of Business is actually a pilot case study in Karatina University, and we have actually demonstrated that this concept can work if you look at each faculty as an entrepreneurial faculty. So we have representatives of different schools, faculty members, being part of this particular project. We actually call them the entrepreneurship champions. And we have carried out a series of workshops so that they can actually appreciate the aspect of being an entrepreneurial school. We've done a lot of workshops, for example, like in design thinking, which is very, very critical in developing a sustainable model in each particular school. And then we have an innovation hub that is being run informally. It will be formal, as my colleague said. In our universities, we have different layers of authority. So we are just waiting approval from our management, university management, to start running the hub formally. And this will enable players from different schools to actually come and demonstrate their entrepreneurial capability. The university is ready to help them in commercializing this particular concept. So the shift of the mindset has started in our university, and we needed to showcase with one particular school, and that is why I'm looking forward even to having the Uni Center collaborating with our university through the Directorate of Linkages, and I'm happy that MKU is giving me this particular chance. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kenneth. And Wasswa, I see your cameras come on, so I'm hoping that you have particularly insightful comments to make here, given your reputation.
Yeah, I think to really sustain these programs, these activities, we should incorporate what we are doing in our curriculum. That's what we are seeing in MOOCs, that our entrepreneurship degree, as we open up, we want to have an option in social business. And given the large numbers of social enterprises that are operating in the country informally and formally, we think that they need to be able to manage these institutions. And this is where we think that once we anchor it into curriculum, we should be able to sustain the interest and, of course, the research in it. The research should be able to feed the curriculum. So we think that we should be able, in the long run, to be able to act actually independently, because we are simply interested in a concept that we think is very useful in the society, in improving the lives of the millions of poor people that we confront. I am now involved in designing some World Bank program, and I'm trying to influence the funding to women social enterprises. Yesterday I had a meeting with the Minister for Labor and Social Development, and there's some funds that will come up. My mind was, can we do this if we really want to transform the lives of women? So if this is successful, it will simply strengthen what we are doing in sustaining the interest, the research, and the teaching in the subject matter. Thank you. Back to you, host.
Brilliant. Thank you. John, Enrico, I'd like to bring you in on this, and I'm sure you have views on terms of your own institutions, but also probably particularly John with respect to working in and with institutions in Africa.
Oh, yes, Cam, I think my own university in Scotland has been, along with your university, Cam, leader in the area of entrepreneurship teaching. We've been doing it now for at least 20 to 25 years. And as our colleagues from Uganda and Kenya have just said, I think the secret, if you like, of this is to embed entrepreneurship across different faculties. And our university, University of the West of Scotland, has been doing that for a long time. And particularly within the business school where I'm located, it's a sort of sine qua non, isn't it, of modern business schools that we teach entrepreneurship. And not all business schools teach social business, mind you. And as one of our colleagues said, I think, we can have entrepreneurship degrees which have some specialisms in social business. But I think, I'd like to say that, this distinction between enterprise and social business, becomes a little bit artificial to some extent, because, as I don't have to say this in the presence of Professor Yunus, but, all businesses are social at the end of the day. And I'm speaking to you, as I think Cam is as well, from Glasgow, where the COP26 conference is taking place. And this is a big part of the discussions going forward with the issue of climate change, that, you cannot really deal with the technological issues of climate change or of innovation generally without incorporating the aspects and ambitions of communities and society. So, as I said, it's a sine qua non. In Africa, our centre is very well established now, actually, particularly in East Africa, in Kenya, obviously, but also in Rwanda and a little bit in Ethiopia. And we tend to engage our colleagues in these countries through research rather than teaching. And we have a number of funded projects. I'm heading one at the moment, actually, that's funded by the Foreign Office in the UK in Rwanda in fish farming, it's actually aquaponics. It's a combination of fish and vegetables in fish tanks, and we've developed a farm with our colleagues in Rwanda. And a big element of that is gender and social inclusion. So gender is a big element because, funding these days, at least from the UK, needs to have some gender and social inclusion element. So you won't get funding from the UK government anymore if you propose a research project, which does not deal with the issue of gender and social inclusion. And this includes, for example, disabled people. So our project in Rwanda is very much involved with that aspect. And we're carrying out large surveys at the moment of farmers in that regard. So that's just one example. But the centre that we run at the University of the West of Scotland, is involved in many, many different projects which have a social business dimension within them.
Thank you. That's great. And Enrico, do you want to offer anything on this aspect?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cam, I just had internet connection, so maybe I lost the question.
That's okay. No, I think what we can do, and just in the interest of time, then, is I just wanted to give you that opportunity. We can move on, because the other aspect, what we were considering there, Enrico, was collaboration still within universities, but say, sort of interfaculty, interdepartmental type issues. And we just had some great feedback and contributions on that. But one of the other issues I wanted to get to was this idea of how we can promote more kind of interinstitutional or international collaboration, and that's, in some ways, that's made easier by this type of technology. We're engaging in a fantastic collaborative activity right now, and have been for the last 2 days. But I suppose it's about, there are issues to do with face-to-face collaboration, how we can, I think one of the speakers has already talked about how do we sort of build greater capacity for research and teaching collaboration in the future. So it would be great to get your views on that. And I don't know, maybe we could start with you on that, Enrico, and I don't know if you would want to also say a little about what we've been discussing with Lamia and colleagues at the YSBC network, and the survey that we're hoping to launch in the next few weeks.
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to do it. I will just start saying some very practical things about collaboration. Just to give you a hint, I mean, our Yunus Center is not funded by the university, so we are self-sustainable with our research and consulting that we do. So we work as a social business, actually. And that's just to explain why I'm going to say the things I'm going to say. So in collaboration, the type of collaboration we do is always collaborations, almost always collaboration on funded projects. So funded by European Commission, funded by international development agencies, and so on. So when we are looking for collaborations, we have to be really, really careful with whom we are collaborating, because you need to check their administrative capacity, especially if a lot of funding is involved, so that they can actually report on the expenditures, basically speaking, and then also operational capacity. We have very bad experiences in the past where on the paper the partner was wonderful, but then they weren't able to carry on the research, and this is terrible project-wise because it's a reputation loss, you know. So you do a lot of effort to build a reputation and then you lose it because you don't collaborate with the right people. So these are two things that are extremely important, especially when you have to start collaborating with someone you don't know. That's why also I like the Yunus Center network, because you get to know each other in the years. For example, we have very good collaboration with Glasgow Caledonian. So if I have a project in mind, they are my first pick, usually in the network, you know. So I think what needs to be done is that we really start knowing each other better, but we also go deeper in certain issues which go beyond I have a research interest in, which is okay, that's the starting point. But then it's also what's your administrative capacity, what kind of stuff you have, and so on, because at the end of the day, these are the things that also matter when we have to do the job. And the job could be research or a consulting. So there's a long introduction just to say we have been, and then I asked Cam or Lamia also to feed in. We have been discussing how to operationalize these future collaborations and make it and start the ball rolling. And since we were discussing these difficulties in knowing some very particular things like administrative capacity, previous experience in projects, and so on, we discussed with Professor Yunus first, and then also Lamia and Cam. We came up with the idea of sending out to the network a short questionnaire where we ask very precise questions which can help us then to see what's the level in the network, of course, because, for example, there are also funds for capacity building. So it doesn't mean that if someone is not ready yet for projects financed by the European Commission, they won't ever access this fund. No, it's not the point of the network. The point of the network is also to do some capacity building, you know, and try to help each other in some way. But the idea is to know each other and build projects and proposals which mix university with some more experience in some type of funds. It doesn't mean that they have more experience in general in everything, they're the best. No, it means they, for many reasons, have won many funds and they have more experience. This is something the European Commission's others are looking at. And then, you know, we can start building the proposals, mixing the strongest university with the ones we are less experienced in these funds, and then try to create benefits for everyone. So I actually personally very happy now that there are Yunus centers from Africa, because this was an area which for many years it wasn't developed in the network. And I'm very happy because we also work, we have many projects in Africa. We worked in Uganda on disabilities, and then we worked also maybe are working on Senegal, we work in Liberia, Tanzania. So we have some experience, but we really like to build connections with universities in the countries, because projects and consultancies have better results when we work together. That's a fact. So I don't know, Cam, if you want to build also on the initiative.
Well, it's just to say, let people know that we will be, you know, we have designed a survey that we want to put to all YSBCs about how areas they would like to collaborate on, how prepared people feel for collaboration. And we want people who feel that they're at all stages of development, because a lot of funders like to fund things that are, you know, where we have maybe centres that have been doing this for a bit longer, whether it's in teaching or research, and where they're working with newer centres and therefore helping to build capacity. So this would be something that we would hope in that sense would be very inclusive, and we want to look for funders who look beyond particular geographical boundaries. So this is a way of trying to facilitate greater collaboration, sort of intercontinental, if you like, as opposed to just international. So it's a great fit for the network around Professor Yunus. And once we have that information, we can then begin to devise stronger strategies for attracting funds. So we don't actually have long left, and what I would like to do is to offer some concluding comments, is to bring in both Lamia and Professor Yunus themselves. So Lamia, I don't know, would you want to go first, and then we would finish with Professor Yunus?
Yes, sure, that's fine. So with respect to the survey, UnoCenter remains at your disposal for the dissemination of that whenever that's ready to do through our network. This is precisely the kind of function that UnoCenter would like to serve for the network, is spread this to the network, and so they can connect with each other for further steps on this. So we're very excited about this possibility. I also wanted to mention that we are also very excited to see the involvement of the new universities in Africa joining into the network. This has been an extremely exciting development for us, especially that it has happened during the pandemic. And we have actually a number of projects on the social business projects on the ground implemented through Yunus Social Business, Yunus Environment Hub, Grameen Creative Lab, and Yunus Sports Hub that are operating in Africa. And it would be great for the universities to maybe connect to those social businesses on the ground for purposes also of collaboration, not just between universities, but to see what those organizations are doing on the ground. Some of them are quite sizable social businesses working in the fields of agriculture, nutrition, water, renewable energy, and so on. So I think that's something that is an important piece to look at, and we would be happy from the UnoCenter to connect all the universities to those practices if they're interested in learning about them, and also maybe looking at their impact if they're located close to you. I know that MUBS, Makerere University, is already involved with the work of YSB in Uganda. So that was another piece. And finally, I wanted to mention, which I said on the first day, which was that we are launching with Catholic University of Zimbabwe and UnoCenter and YY Ventures, this social business design competition and a social fiction design competition, which is going to be launched from Africa, but it's actually going to be a worldwide competitions, both of them, which is, with the view of furthering this vision of 3.0 clubs, and to create examples through business plans of social businesses that work to achieve the 3 zeros, and including the 3-0 clubs. So that's something that will be announced at the GSBS in the next couple of days. So please look out for the presentation session of that initiative, because I think that will be an important activity for the whole network. And finally, and I was requested by my colleague, if I can just show the slide that this evening we have the conclusion of the SBAC, and soon after that we have the opening of the Global Social Business Summit. And I'd like to invite everyone who's present here to please join that, because that will be slightly different type of forum, bringing in not just academics but also other practitioners. And I think Aziz is also putting the registration link in the chat box so that everyone may register for that. So please join us for the opening of that. Professor Yunus and other dignitaries will be speaking at the opening session, and it will carry through until 10th of November. And we'll bring in also practitioners and activists and athletes and entrepreneurs and students into the discussion. So thank you very much. Thanks, Cam.
I would like to add a few words, please.
Please, yeah, please do.
Okay, thank you. Since this discussion is on collaboration, I would like to mention about 2 projects that we are having at Yunus Center right now. Under the first one, we are having a research collaboration with the University of Externado in Colombia. We are in the process of writing 4 research projects conducting, and we have already finished 1 teaching case and going to write 3 research papers under the project. In addition, we are going to have another project in Africa. We are going to collaborate with 6 East African universities in 6 African countries to initiate at least 1 research paper in each of these universities. So we are looking forward to working with our partners in East African countries, and looking forward to have them on board to finish these research projects. And hopefully we'll be able to present some of the papers that we'll be producing in East African countries in the next academia conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jahangir, and thanks, Lamia. So back to you, Professor Yunus, for some final words. I'm not sure we've been able to take on your specific challenges, but I can assure you that these are challenges that I would see as being able to certainly to collaborate on in the future.
Sorry, you're on mute.
No, thank you, Cam. It's a good overview of the situation right now on the collaboration part. And Lamia has summed up from our side, and Jahangir Alam has also added the latest one that we added, trying to build up that relationship, how to grow. But what I'm emphasizing that there will be a big push now to have a greater collaboration and quicker results of research to guide people which way to go. So we need to expedite the process. Your survey that Cam you launched is a very good one to find out the details of the relationship and so on. So this will support and try to get the collaboration from all the YSBCs around to participate in that, so that we get a better picture of it. Somehow we need to strategize what the collaboration would be coming up in future, how what kind of approach we'll make, so that we have some guidelines in the picture. And not everybody is familiar with this collaboration initiation. So we should have, we can have a strategy so that we can reach out to many more universities, many more research institutions collaborating with each other. And this time we are very happy that we got 7 universities from Africa in the YSBC network. And we want to pay high attention, high priority in Africa, because Africa is a land of opportunity right now, given the circumstances that we are in. Opportunity meaning how to protect, how to save the planet from that enormous encroachment that is happening by the existing system that we are in operation. So probably Africa can save us from that. help us overcome this huge problem that is coming ahead of us. So I would say that we've given the whole picture. Somewhere we can try to build that strategy for collaboration and the direction of research, how we can make it happen. So and thank you for all the participants here for excellent presentations and discussion. And we hope we can move forward in a faster way. We have been moving in the collaboration is a common topic for all of our SBAC. Today we are coming to a stage where we really have to go in a big way on the collaboration part, because that's where all the things can start happening. Otherwise, our individual efforts remain very isolated in a single initiative with unknown and unintroduced areas where people have no idea what's going on in that specific area. So we need to pull those things. And then it comes back to the journal issue and all that, which we'll discuss in separate program, separate session. Thank you very much, Cam, and thank you all of you who have participated. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Yunus, for those words of inspiration. I think, as you say, collaboration is key going forward, both within and beyond our institutions. And I think this discussion and what's actually happening within the network shows that we are continuing to develop and innovate in that regard. And for stimulating our thoughts on that today, I would just like to thank my colleagues and 5 speakers, Wasswa, Chukwumeka, Kenneth, Enrico, and John. Thank you very much, folks, for your contributions to the session today. And that's really all from this particular session on collaboration. And I'd hand you back to our host. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.